Hello everyone, welcome to another shocking infrared video that proves the Earth is incredibly flat. You're gonna be totally amazed, folks. We'll be applying the principles of photogrammetry to the aerial infrared images that I've taken, and we'll be using professional software to extract the 3D models of our world, and the results are simply shocking. First, I'm going to show you how it works. I took a trip from San Francisco to Portland, right past Mount Shasta, and here's a few clips. I also captured a set of images with my camera, as you can see here, as I was flying past it, because I knew I wanted to try out this photogrammetry. The software I'll be using is called Metashape, and this is how it's used. Photogrammetry software lets you input a set of images and then you process them to create a sparse cloud of data points, and then you can process a dense cloud of points. Basically, it looks at the information in the images and how it's shifted horizontally and vertically to determine the depth. Also reads the information of the camera that's embedded in the images and determines the focal length in terms of pixels, etc. And thus it can determine the depth to the geometry. And the results are simply incredible, folks. I mean, just look at this stuff, you know, with a few images. I have a 3D model here of Mount Shasta that I can rotate. Now on the back side of it, there's holes because there's no information there. But if you want to create a full 360 model, you got to take pictures all the way around. The neat thing about the processing step is the software can determine where the photos were taken from. As you saw, it shows the images floating in the air and oriented correctly. So that's incredible. It's all built in the geometry and the difference of the imagery. So now let's apply this amazing technology to some extremely flat areas that I've imaged before in infrared, and specifically let's look at Michigan. Here's the flight path, the red line. I flew from Chicago to Buffalo this spring, and I was looking towards the north, and I took some really clear images, as you see right here. This area is usually covered in clouds, but this on this particular day, the western side was clear, as you can see here, and we can almost see Lake Michigan on the left, curving around way out there. So we're really seeing about, you know, over 200 miles out. But let's use this photogrammetry to determine the flatness. Is it really as flat as it appears? So here I've imported all the images, and I already ran the first step, which determines the location of the images and creates this sparse tie points. Looks like about 7,000 or so points, and we can rotate and look at it. So the software probably looks at the prominent features in the image and creates this sparse, dense cloud. And then the following steps are more involved. But here we can see the cloud layer above it. You see that? There's ground points and then there's a cloud layer. And look how flat it is. It's incredible. So now let's run the next step here. So we'll go with high. There's a few setting options there. We'll just leave it on the default. And we'll be generating the depth map. And it's gonna take a while. So I'm just gonna skip ahead here. Depending on the number of images, it could take upwards of half hour to, I don't know, maybe an hour or more. Here I just have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I got 7 images I've taken in pretty much a regular interval. I'm not sure if the images have to be spaced closely. I think the software is intelligent enough to place the images correctly. So let's skip ahead here so we don't waste a lot of bandwidth. Okay, so the depth maps are almost complete, and the results are going to be incredible. Just a few more seconds left. Some of these time counters can be deceiving. I've seen the time go up. Oh, did you see that? They're somewhat accurate depending on the programming was done. So let's see here. It's almost done. Come on. There we go. Oh, there's another step here. Generating dense point cloud. So it first does a depth map, determines the depth, and then actually creates the points in the XYZ coordinate system. So pretty neat software. That's the kind of processing our brains do on the images from our eyeballs, We see in stereo with the 2 eyes. So this is somewhat similar to all that processing. Come on, how long is this thing gonna take? Let's see. Let me cut this and speed ahead. Okay, so the processing is done, and now we have this dense cloud to work with. Wow, look at that. Whoa. You can even see the clouds. Now there's an artifact underneath it, right? The black thing. But by and large, all the data points seem to be accurate. And it even picks up the clouds. That is so cool. Yet look how flat that is. Wow. That's incredible. Now, look at the images where they're at. We are flying at about 32,000 feet. So I think the software doesn't quite put all the points in there. We don't see those distant clouds. When it does the dense cloud analysis, it truncates it closely. So we'll see shortly an analysis based on the other cloud. Now there I was pointing to the lake, and here's the same lake that I think we're seeing right there. And then above it there's some features which I think it picks out. So it truncated the image to probably 70 to 100 miles. Just because this is the higher resolution, more accuracy, right? The shallower the angles, the more problematic in terms of accuracy. But look at that. Look how flat that is. Oh my goodness. That is incredible, folks. Yeah, look at that. See? It is pretty flat. Now, don't worry, we're gonna do a little bit more analysis here, but this is just a visual to get us all excited, because this is really incredible, technology, Before I was trying to determine land features. You look out there and you see something and you say, hey, there's some feature out there, and then use Google Earth to try to determine what I'm seeing. Now here, with this technique, the software probably does a correlation across the whole image or pairs of images and determines, points which are the same. So because we're in motion, right, things move differently in the image, and that's a powerful technique. You can now determine based on movement what is close and what is far. So here's one of the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh image. Actually, they're numbered the other way because I was flying from left to right. And so yeah, I had a good spread of images here, and it created quite a detailed map. Now there's one more step here that I haven't done. That's where it creates tetrahedra. I can barely say that word. So what we're looking at here is just a dense point cloud, and I don't know, there's a lot of points there, as you can see on the left. So let's go back to the tie points, because that had more information, and we could see the clouds in the distance, which are not here. So that's what I'm interested in. So here I'm looking at the tie points, the less dense data set, and we can see as I rotate it, I'm not sure if you can see it on your screen, there is points out there at a different height, right there. Those are the clouds in the distance, and the other points on the bottom, that's the ground, Now if we go to the dense cloud, look at that. You see, it's only a portion of it, very close in, so it doesn't take all the points from far away, because the angles are too shallow, and you cannot do accurate processing. I probably have to study the different options and parameters that will let the software kind of extend the analysis. But let's go back to the tie points. Okay, and I'm going to rotate it, and look at those clouds there in the distance. Isn't that incredible? Wow. And now look at that, see? So there's more data out there that we need to look at, and now I'm turning it sideways, and you'll see a detailed analysis. Now let's move it to the right a little bit to fit everything in there, and those blue things are the image location, obviously. So now when I rotate it on edge, it becomes apparent that there's a difference between the clouds and the ground. Isn't that incredible? Oh my God, that's incredible. And see, the dense cloud is only close in, so it discards a lot of information out there. Wow, that is incredible. Look at that. Wow, this is amazing. So I'm going to do an analysis based on that, on this dense cloud. So let's create a line and match it to the ground points. Here we go. Here's the clouds on top, and down on the bottom we have the ground points. There we go. Right there. Let's move it a little bit. That looks about right. Let's zoom in a little bit. You see the ground points? Yeah, right there. Man, this is so flat. Oh my God. Look at that. This is incredible. So now, let's see, what am I doing here? So there's the clouds, right? Those are data points from the clouds in the distance. So it's quite a distance here. Okay. So now let's create another line to approximate the curvature. You know, we're probably seeing, I don't know, 200-300 miles. So I've calculated roughly how much you should curve. So I'll show you an analysis slowly, but right now I'm just kind of putting up a curve here, and I'm gonna bend it slightly. So see, there's an angle of about 2 degrees in 300 miles. You know, there's a curvature of about 2 to 3 degrees. So I'm just bending this right now. Oh yeah, that's what I was doing, yeah. So here we have a visual of kind of the curvature of the Earth, the supposed curvature, and then the data points extracted from photogrammetry. And it's quite a shocker. I mean, it is extremely flat, you know. Our eyesight was not deceiving us. That's incredible, folks. This is amazing, and we'll do another analysis shortly, but here let me move the curve down a little bit. And so while I was looking at this, I realized, wait a second, I can determine how far I'm seeing based on the altitude of my photos, which are shown in the model. I know I was flying at 32,000 feet. Now here's the incredible result, folks. Shocking. By using the altitude of the images as a reference, I calculated that I'm seeing data points out over 500 miles, folks. This is just incredible. You see on the left, I'm flying at 32,000 feet. And I've determined the center of the images and the vector there. And now I have a reference height on the image, and then I've taken that and I measured horizontally, and look at that. My goodness, wow. We can go, there's data points even beyond 540, maybe 600 miles out. Now you can see the clouds, you can see the ground there, and I've also placed the curved Earth. I've calculated that to be accurate, and look at that. That is incredible, folks. Just amazing. I mean, what can we say? You know, the Earth is absolutely flat. It just boggles the mind. So I hope to process a lot of my aerial photography and turn it into a 3D model, and perhaps I can map out large portions of the US, because I've flown crisscross this country on my business trips, so I have a lot of data. However, this particular software only takes images, and so if I have video and I extract images from the flight, I may have to write my own code in MATLAB to process all this data. But that's one of my long-term goals. I want to make a 3D model of the US at least, something to rival Google Earth, but based on real data, reality in infrared. So amazing stuff, folks. Thanks for watching, folks, and don't forget to check back periodically, because I have a lot of things up my sleeve. I'm working on a lot of projects, and I'm just gonna come at you out of the blue with some new shocker. I'm sold on this stuff. It's incredible. I've also started a Facebook page, JTolan, if you want to check that out. So thanks again, folks, and stay tuned for more. God bless.